Here we are with green for Avacyn Restored preview, or spoilers, full release. It's 12:42 in the morning. I'm going to just go through this. First we have Abundant Growth. Green for enchant land. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchant land has 1 mana. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Definitely a card I like. If you need some fixing, solid. Cantrips, which is something pretty important. So basically it's just decent fixing. Next you have Blessings of Nature. 5 mana or Miracle for green. Distribute 4+1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures. I like this card even for its without its miracle cost. It's pretty good. You can just pump some flyer or something. Really good. Borderland Ranger is insane. And by insane I mean it's very good. It's 3 mana for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a land card, reveal it, put it in your hand. Definitely something you want in this format. Solid card. If you're playing green, you play this guy. Next we have Bower Passage. 2 mana, creatures with flying can't block creatures you control. Definitely sideboard tech against the Angel deck. Champion of Lamphold's great. Reminds me a lot of Aura Gnarlid. 3 mana for 1/1. That whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter, and creatures with power less than it can't block creatures you control. Very good. Next we have Big Stupid Mythic Beast. A card that you should always play if you're playing green. Great mythic, super solid. You play it and win the game. Next we have Descendants Path. 3 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type with the creature you control, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, put that card in the bottom of your library. Whew. I think this is... If you have the deck that can abuse it, it's fine. Otherwise... nothing too much in my eyes. Next you have Diregraph Escort. 1/1 for 1 soul bond. That they both have protection from zombies. This would be a good sideboard card against the zombie deck. It's not that good, by the way. Next comes Druid's Familiar. 4 mana for a 2/2 soul bond. That as long as it's paired with another creature, each creature gets +2/+2. This card I really like. You basically are getting 6 power for 4 mana, which is very good. Next we have Druid's Repository. Colorless green. For whenever a creature you control attacks, put a charge counter and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool when you attack. Or when you remove a charge counter. If you're playing something that, is playing Craterhoof Behemoth, something I would keep in mind. And if you've got a lot of attackers. Otherwise, it's not that good. Next we have Eaten by Spiders. 3 mana for destroy target creature with flying and all equipment attached to that. There's not that many equipment running around, but destroy target creature with flying is going to be more important than in other sets due to all the angels. Next we have Flowering Lumberknot. 4 mana for a 5/5 that can't attack or block unless it's paired with a creature with soul bond. Do not play this card. I don't like it at all. Well, okay, you can play it if you want, but I don't like it at all. Especially if they have removal, they can instantly just wreck you by killing a soulbound guy. Soulbond. Why did I say soulbound? Next you have Geist Trappers, 5 mana, 3/5 soul bond. As long as it's paired, they both have reach. Yeah, that's pretty good. His power toughness with reach is very good, considering the number of flyers running around. Gloom Widow is a 3 mana, 3/3 reach that can only block creatures with flying. It'd be funny if they forgot to give it reach. I would like if we could block anything. Otherwise, it's okay. Next you have Grounded. Enchanted Creature loses flying. As you can tell, there's some sort of flying hate running around. Next you have Howlgeist, an amazing finisher. It's a 4/2, creatures with power less than it can't block it, and it has Undying. Joint Assault is the Mirren Metal, or Giant Growth, or whatever you want to call it. It gets +2/+2 till end of turn. A combat trick. Be wary if they have green open. Next you have Lair Delve. Reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all creatures and lands into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library. It's sort of like a draw 2. Unless you're playing a ton of instants and sorceries, I like Lair Delve. Next you have Natural End. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, you gain 3 life. Sideboard card. Next you have Nettle Swine. It's a 4/3 vanilla for 4. If you need a filler, this is good. Next you have Nightshade Peddler. It's a 1/1 for 2 that both creatures have Death Touch. I like this guy. This guy plus anything with trample is just such a huge game. And speaking of cards having trample, here's a 6/4 for 6 that gives them trample. These guys, or you get a creature with trample and death touch, you can just run over people. Next you have Primal Surge, 10 mana, exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent, you may put it onto the battlefield, and if you do, repeat it. Yeah, no, don't do it. Okay. Rain of Thorns, 6 mana. Choose one or more. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, and or land. Not that good. If it was this plus creature with flying, it'd be great, but otherwise, no. Revenge of the Hunted is amazing. 6 mana to get 6/6 trample, and all creatures able to block it do so, and you can miracle it for green, and if it has death touch, you can just, I want to do it so badly with the creature with death touch. Next, you have Sheltering Word. Target creature you control gains hexproof, and you gain life equal to its toughness. I very much liked Ranger's Guile more as the hexproof instant, because 2 mana is a little bit too obvious. So, I like it. I probably like it more in sealed than in draft, just because everyone's playing all the pieces of removal that they can. Next we have Snare the Skies. Target creature gets +1/+1 in reach. Meh. Again, anti-flying cards. Somberwald Sage is good. 3 mana for a 0/1. That add 3 mana of any one color, but spend it only for creature spells. Very good. Definitely can mess up a lot of things, and you can ramp really hard. Say, for example, Primeval Titan on... Wait, no, I'm speaking limited. 6 drop on turn 4. Pretty good. Next, you have Soul of the Harvest. 6 mana, 6/6 trample. That whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. It's just butterfly. I love the picture for the effect that it does. It's really good, too. Terrifying Presence. 2 mana. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by creatures other than target creature this turn. Definitely something I call a removal spell if you've got the creatures to back it up. Next is Timberland Guide. 2 mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It's not amazing. It's okay. Triumph of Ferocity goes against the other Triumph with Liliana. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power. Tied with the greatest power. If you're playing green and you've got big guys, Triumph of Ferocity is pretty good. Next, you have Trusted Force Mage. 3 mana for a 2/2 Soul Bond. That as long as it's paired, each one of the creatures gets +1/+1. This one you're basically getting 4 power for 3 mana, which is fine. I like the picture, which probably is a little bit biased in my opinion, but it's still fine. Next, we have Ulvenwald Tracker. 1 mana for 1/1. That target creature you control fights another target creature. So this guy's great. He sends a bear to do his bidding. But he's also is prey upon on a stick. Great creature. Definitely play it if you're green. Next, we have Vorst Claw. A 7/7 for 6. If you need a finisher, he's pretty good. Wandering Wolf's a 2/1 that with creatures with power less than it can't block it. So this is good if you can pump him up, make him stronger, of course. Wild Defiance. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery, it gets +3/+3, which is pretty good. I like it. It can wreck a ton of removal, and if you've got pump spells and stuff, it could just be so good. Next we have Wildwood Geist. It's a 3/3 for 5 that gets +2/+2 as long as it's your turn. This guy I don't like so much. I'd rather have just a 5/5 all the time, of course. We have Wolfie Revenger, which is almost as good as Briarpack Alpha. Briarpack Alpha is much better. 3 mana for a 3/3 flash with Regenerate. Definitely a guy you can hop in to play and definitely wreck some stuff. I like this guy. Wolf or Silverheart, I like Silverheart. I like more. 5 mana for a 4/4 Soul Bond. Each one gets +4/+4. Super good. Play this guy if you get him. And lastly, U Spirit. It's a 5 mana 3/3 that for 4 it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is his power. I like this guy a lot. And any of these pump guys at turn is pretty good, and you can, have a 6/6, which can, probably is something that's hard to deal with. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe.